Hey guys, Will Secure here. Today I'm going to be telling you my thoughts on the Star Wars Rebels series. I know it's a bit late, but since I started YouTube a couple weeks ago, I figure I'd talk about this because it's something that, I think a lot about because Rebels was like a big TV show right after Clone Wars. So with all that said, let's get right into the video. So first off, I want to talk about the season progressions. So, Season 1, in my opinion, pretty bad. Not much anything. It took itself way too seriously, and I just really, very much did not like Season 1. It just did not appeal to me whatsoever. Season 2, a bit better, but still something I didn't like. I didn't hate it as much as I hated Season 1. It expanded on some good things, but towards the end it got quite a bit better. And Season 2, not sure how I feel about it. Wasn't really a fan of Ahsoka turning to Rebels, or coming to Rebels, that is, and I would have just rather it had just the 5 of them, and I wasn't a fan of all the Sith Temple stuff at the end. Also, they brought Maul back in, and then they just waste him later. Alright, so next we have Season 3. This was a fairly good season in my opinion. It had some good plots, some good Maul stuff. I'm a big Maul fan. Maul's probably one of my top 5 favorite Star Wars characters. Now that I think about it, I know my video, he's not on there, but if I could change it, I'd definitely include Maul, because I've been seeing a lot of Maul stuff lately. And it had some good Maul stuff, it had some good episodes. It also had quite a few dud episodes. And by that I mean no good plot, just pretty much a filler episode. Which was Season 1 and 2, I felt like, were just composed completely of filler episodes. Which is something that's not really acceptable for a TV show produced by, millionaires. And finally, Season 4. Now, I first saw this pretty close after it came out, and I have to say I was kind of impressed by the last half or so of it. First half kind of felt like filler, just like a lot of the other parts of the show did. But the second half, I was actually very impressed with. Spoiler alert, guys. There's going to be a major Rebels spoiler. So, if you don't want to hear that, skip ahead, maybe a minute or so. Alright, so let's get right into it. So, after Kanan dies, it is just very awesome. I very much enjoyed it. It brings a little more maturity, apart from that Grey Ninja guy, whatever he was, like the bounty hunter. He was a completely useless addition to Star Wars. So, after Kanan dies, the show kind of matures up a little bit. And I have to say, there hasn't been an episode that I enjoyed the full way through, apart from the last 5-ish episodes in the second half of Season 4, which, in my opinion, I really liked. And just remember, guys, this is all my opinion, It's okay to have different opinions. I'm just one guy. So, these are just my opinions. Next off, I want to talk about the characters. Kanan, he was an interesting character when he was first introduced. I didn't really like him. He seemed like a typical mentor character, and that was essentially what he turned out to be. And I think he had way more potential since he was like a Padawan and he had to learn to survive without his Jedi powers. So then there's Hera. I really like Hera. I think she's very level-headed, disciplined, but to be honest, I don't think that she really belonged in this show, because I'm not sure this show benefited from having a level-headed guy on the team, apart from Kanan. But just Hera, sometimes she was just kind of like a killjoy, if you know what I mean. And that's something I didn't like about her character. I love her character, though. I wish she could have been in something else. But I just don't think this was the show for her. Next we have Zeb. Zeb, I know he gets a lot of hate, but Zeb's kind of one of my favorite characters just simply because I'm a fan of the sort of strong guy gimmick. I know a lot of people hate that. Most people hate that. I kind of like that, though, because I'm a pretty small guy myself, so, that's just something I like. And, I don't know, Zeb, he's, funny sometimes. I think he was a good addition to this show, but he didn't really do that much. And his storyline, I have to say, I did not like his storyline whatsoever. His storyline was just like, oh, I'm the last of my people. And that just seems like so typical. It doesn't seem like anything new, something different. It just seems kind of stupid in my opinion. And the fact that they bring it up every other time. And then there's Callus, who it's like when we first see him, we're like, wow, this guy killed all Zeb's people. Wait, psych though. No, he didn't. He's just some random guy who just doing maintenance duties during it. Next we have Sabine. Sabine, I didn't really like her that much in seasons 1 and 2. Seasons 3 and 4, she became definitely one of my favorite characters from the show as she grew and developed as a character. And, she's quite a good character. But when she was first introduced, I wasn't really a fan. And finally, we have the infamous one himself, Ezra. I know a few people who like Ezra, and I personally do not like Ezra. Ezra spoils the mood whenever he's on the screen. I just don't get it with him. He's always inserted into everything when he shouldn't be. It's like, oh look, here's your mission. But then Ezra's like, can I come? And they're like, okay, bud, you can go on that mission too. Ezra's just inserted into everything. I'm not a fan of him, and I really don't like his character. I think the show would have been better without him, although I get he's the main character of the show. I also don't like the fact he's learning to become a Jedi, because he's like the opposite of what a Jedi is and should be. And I don't really get why they put him in the show. I think it was probably to appeal to a younger audience, but as a teenager myself, Ezra, come on, bud, grow up, man. And yes, I know I just told a fictional character to grow up, and I know I'm talking about Star Wars as a teenager, so maybe I should be the one who grows up. But that's beyond the point. The point I'm trying to make is Ezra was not a good character. His storyline, he's like, oh, I'm in the dark side. Oh, wait, psych, no, I'm not. Now I'm good again. He just got bounced up. His character got bounced around. His character arc it was non-existent. He just did the same thing over and over again, and then he switched and started doing something different, but then he switched right back. There was just no redeeming qualities to Ezra, apart from the fact, which I know a lot of people like him, because they're like, he's a guy trying to do the right thing. And I guess I can see him as that, because that's what the show portrays him as, but when all is said and done here, Ezra just doesn't belong in this show. He doesn't bring anything to this show, and I think the show would have been a lot better if they had less focus on Ezra and more focus on the other crew, the other factions of the rebellion, just other things other than Ezra goofing around with Chopper and Zeb. And I know I haven't talked about Chopper yet, so I will. Chopper, comic relief, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Oh, except the fact that he wasn't even comic. I know the word is comical, but my brain had a lapse there. Next, I want to talk about any sort of continuation to this show, which there have been a couple of people who have wanted a little more, or something where in the epilogue they want to see what's shown there. And for me, I don't want to see any of that. I don't really want to see any more with this show. I'm just ready for it to be over and done. The only things I'm excited about are possibly Ahsoka, maybe in a live-action thing. I'd love to see Ahsoka in a live-action thing. And I'm going to be honest here. I'm very interested in what happened to Ezra and Thrawn after they got sucked away by the space whales. Oh, don't get me started on the space whales. After they got sucked away by the space whales, we don't know where they went to, and, you know, most people are like, I don't care, I don't like this show. For me, though, I actually kind of want to know, because I like Thrawn. I thought he was very calculated, apart from the facts, like when he did stuff that did not suit his character whatsoever. But I thought he was a very incredible character. The fact that he wasn't just like, oh yes, I'm going to blow up everything, which eventually he did try to do, which was something I didn't like. But he always seemed to see the bigger picture. But the thing is, I don't really want to see any more of, like, Ezra, or I don't want them to butcher Thrawn's character. You know, I think if some novelist made an amazing book about it, and I think they'd have to run it by quite a few people, but if they made a book, if they marketed that book incredibly well, I think that that could be successful. And I think that would be a good way for those people who want to know, to be able to read about it. I don't think they should make a TV show about it. I don't think they should make a movie about it. I want them to make a very good quality book, and I want it to be over. So I know I've said a lot of negative stuff about this show, and I somewhat like the show. I like the show in later seasons. I didn't think it was too bad. I usually, half watched it, half just played on my phone a bit when I did watch it. But I thought it was not half bad. I wasn't a fan, but it wasn't too bad towards the end. And I know that could get me some hate, but, these are just my opinions, guys. I'm not the rule on anything. I'm just one guy. But the show itself, I'm not really sure about. I wish they hadn't made it. That's what I'm going to say. I wish they hadn't made it. I just wasn't really a fan. I didn't see the audience whatsoever for it, apart from kids, but I feel like they targeted more to adults than kids, but they wanted to be for the family. But most people in the family aren't going to like it. And another thing is that they introduce things to the universe which I really like the Inquisitors, and just different things, also the Ghost ship, I have to say, is very cool. I very much like that ship. It just has a very cool interior. But they introduced the Inquisitors, and they didn't do anything with them. First Inquisitor, he died at the end, and it was really stupid, considering he's the Grand Inquisitor. Then we've got the, fifth brother, seventh sister, something like that. And they weren't awful. They weren't awful. They were bad. But they weren't awful. The thing is, these Inquisitors, they should be powerful, right? But they're just displayed as people, maybe just like a Greedo-level bounty hunter. A Dengar Greedo-level bounty hunter. Who's, one of the good ones, but still not good. And I think some of the stuff, like lightsaber flight, don't get me started. I was not a fan of that, I thought. And to me, though, I explain it in my headcanon, which probably most of us have, about Star Wars, my headcanon. I just say that they, use the Force to project themselves upward, while the blade's spinning maybe helps them float a bit, but then they use the Force to bring themselves up. And I guess that could work. But that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to round up the video. So, thanks for watching, guys. Leave like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment of anything you think about the show, thoughts, discussions, video ideas. Keep it positive, and peace out.